All right, up next we are talking about going vertical, farming for future, and it is my pleasure to introduce someone who knows a whole lot more about this topic than I do. Please welcome Andreas Schweikert. Did I get it right? Schweikert. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to all of you here to this panel, Going Vertical, Farming for Future. My name is Andreas. I'm from Bitkom. I'm head of digital farming there. Yeah, vertical farming. Why are we talking about this specific topic today? I think we can all see it on the news, in the supermarket. Our food system is facing multiple crises today. We see rising food prices. We see also less arable land due to climate change. We also see global food insecurity due to conflicts like the Russian invasion in Ukraine. So we have to think about new and innovative forms of farming. So that is why we are talking about vertical farming and indoor farming today. So what is vertical farming? Probably most of you have heard it already, but vertical farming is the idea of growing plants indoor and growing crops in vertically stacked layers. What are the advantages? It needs up to 250 times less water, no pesticides, and you can also grow food locally in large cities and do not need to cover long distances to transport. Well, obviously, technology is key to drive vertical farming and to create growing conditions that actually make these plants grow like on the field. So that is why I'm really happy to welcome two startups today that drive technologies and automation in indoor farming and vertical farming. So where are we today? What are the challenges? And how do these technological solutions look like? So please welcome on stage our first speaker, Hannah Brown. She is COO and co-founder of Organifarms, which is a startup that develops automated farming robots. And well, last week you already presented your first product, a harvesting robot that is called Barry.
Correct.
So yeah, we are very excited to hear more about Barry, and thanks that you're here. Looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you. Auf den Drücker.
Haben wir einen Klicker?
Thank you very much. Yes, so I'm Hannah Brown from Organifarms, and we develop automation technology to take indoor farming to the next level. So our solution for the problems we're facing in indoor farming, which are labor shortages and high labor costs, is Barry, our automated harvesting robot for strawberries that saves labor, reduces costs, and enables a steady quality. A robot automates the quality control of the harvest, so it detects the exact degree of ripeness of each fruit, as you can see with our image recognition software. It also detects defects on the fruit, so bad spots, bruises, mold, anything like this, and can sort them out automatically. Barry also automates the harvest, of course, so we cut the stem, grip it at the same time, and place the strawberries into the sales punnets. We have specialized on the harvest of strawberries and ever-bearing crops, so here we can also harvest in clusters, which mean when the strawberries grow close together, we can go around and also harvest the ones that are behind the other ones that are maybe unripe. So we also automate the packaging with our technology, so the ripe strawberries are directly placed into the sales punnets. Here they are weighed, so the grower can choose which filling level of the punnets they require, and there are no further processing steps necessary. So after the harvest, they are already weighed, packaged, and they can be stored on board. So we save a lot of working steps in this process. So our harvesting robot harvests around 10 kilograms per hour and can work 24/7. helping with the labor shortage in this industry. It can autonomously drive through the rows and change the rows, and we have a data management platform that is integrated into a system. So the benefits our customers who are greenhouse growers and vertical farmers have from our technology are less personnel expenses, a better planability, a simpler quality control, and a longer shelf life of the fruit, since we leave a little bit of stem on the fruit and we do not touch it in the whole harvesting process. So thank you very much for your attention. Together, let us shape the agriculture of tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to answering some of Andreas' questions, and we will also have a booth up on the first floor where you can come and speak to me afterwards.
Great, thank you very much, Hannah. Yeah, great solution that you presented just to us. I can imagine, like, with the less availability of workers, this might be quite interesting for the industry, right?
Yes, so in the past years, even before COVID and the crisis with the Ukraine, there's been a lot of labor shortage in the industry, so in agriculture and horticulture, and growers are really having issues to find enough people to do these kind of jobs. Of course, at the same time, it is very repetitive work, so we're trying to reduce these tasks that have to be done in this way right now and create jobs that are not as precarious.
Great. So can you maybe explain why automation is that important to make vertical farming, indoor farming thrive and grow?
Yeah, for sure. So our product is now in the first stage used in greenhouses. So we're a startup, we have just launched our first product, but it's also applicable for vertical farming. And here it is really important to lower the costs because if you know a little bit about vertical farming, you know they have high energy costs, high operating costs, and labor is a big part of this. So through automation, we can really reduce these costs and also help with hygiene security, which is of course also an important point for indoor farming.
Perfect. So you focused on strawberries, as we could see in the video. Why?
Yes, so in vertical farming, strawberries are the next thing that is coming, you could say. So yeah, before lettuce and microgreens were mostly grown in vertical farms, but now they are taking up more challenging tasks such as strawberries, and there are many regions where strawberries can't be grown well, and they're also a very delicate fruit, so here the automation really makes sense.
Okay, so we see microgreens, we see fruits like strawberries. Are there any other crops that we can see today in actually indoors farming?
There's a lot that is being done, a lot of research. So I know there are tomatoes, there are peppers that are starting to be grown also in indoor farming. Herbs are a big thing, but more and more is coming. So I'm really curious to see what we can see there in the future.
Perfect. So thank you, Hannah. We see you in a bit back on the stage for a little discussion. So thank you, and
Thanks.
I will move on to, round of applause for Hannah. So I move on to our next speaker, Prash Makaram. He is CEO of Crocus Labs that basically brings, if I can say, the sun to indoor farms, right? So lighting is one of the most important factors to make plants grow indoors. There's no light, so please welcome Prash, that is optimizing lighting environments in indoor farms.
Thanks, Andreas. So, hi everyone, my name is Prash Makram. I'm the CEO and founder of Crocus Labs. What we do, Crocus Labs, what we do is we try to reduce this, the energy burden of indoor farms, greenhouses, vertical farms. Just to give you a little bit of a background of who we are a Berlin-based VC-backed firm. We are backed by the High-Tech Gründer Fund, and we just got the European Union EIC grant. We design smart lighting solutions for the indoor farms, greenhouses, and vertical farms. And the reason we are different from most other companies in the market is because we do it from the ground up. So we leverage 15 years of semiconductor experience to really go to the ground level and design our own chips for the indoor farms. So if you look at a typical vertical farm today that's in production, you will see something like this. If you notice it, it's a lot of purple color. And also, if you, the crops that are predominantly grown are the leafy greens, lettuce and basil, etc. And you don't see strawberries yet. And you have to ask the question why it's not there yet. And if you look at the problems, today's horticulture faces two main challenges. One is that the poor light quality, which means that you're restricted to growing only short turnaround crops like leafy greens and not complex crops like strawberries or tomatoes. And then tied to it is the high energy price, the energy costs of indoor farms. The lighting is probably the biggest cost driver of today's vertical farms and greenhouses also. And this is what we are trying to address, because one of the reasons people stick to the red and blue is because that is the most energy efficient lighting system in the market today. But the crops need more than that. They need a full spectrum, especially if you need to thinking about aroma, nutrition, etc. And just to go a little bit deeper, about 50 to 80% of operational cost related to energy is from lighting solutions. This means that it's not just, and also depending on where you source the energy for the lighting, it also relates to high carbon footprint. So you hear a lot of vertical farms saying, OK, we are growing everything sustainably, but once you start factoring in the energy demand for lighting, you see that vertical farms, the carbon footprint of vertical farms is about 10 times that of traditional farms. And it's not just related to vertical farms, but the issue is also in greenhouses, where it's not as big because they generally get a little bit of sunlight, but it's still huge. And we have seen many greenhouses shut down over the winter this year and not running operations. So this is our solution. We build a comprehensive solution. So we work on a lot on the smart drive technologies, which gives us about 20% energy improvements. And then we work on tunability, which is tied to how, when, and we provide just the light that needed for the crop when it's needed. And then we make our own LED chips, which is where we get our biggest energy boost, 30%. And then on top of that, we integrate sensors that then can tune the light as needed for the plants and the different stages of plants. And we go towards what we call a digital twin of the farm. Some of the results from our customers. So we did some studies with our big strawberry farm out of northern Germany. You probably have seen their kiosks all over Berlin. We saw that we could improve the sweetness of the strawberries with our lighting solutions, especially during the not so sunny days. We reduced the time of pepper growth in our farms with our lighting. We also worked with the university here at the Humboldt, where the IISP, where we increased the biomass of basil by 15%, and today we are at, with our MVP and our current product, we are at 15% better efficiencies than state of the art in the market. Yep, thank you, and we plan to make this indoor farm more energy efficient.
Great. Thank you very much for your presentation, Prash. Very important topic, bringing energy costs down to make vertical farming more cost efficient. What are the biggest challenges you're facing right now?
Well, the biggest challenge for us in terms of business is that there's a lot of noise in the market. So there's a lot of indoor lighting. LED lighting is not new. So there's a lot of companies that are making false, exorbitant claims. And the market is flooded with companies that are not delivering the value, but making claims. And this is what, for us, is a big marketing challenge.
OK. So you are a Berlin-based startup in vertical farming. Why did you choose Berlin to?
Well, actually, first Berlin. Personally, I like it. We have been, actually, me and my wife, we have been all over the world, and we like Berlin because it's cosmopolitan and it has a lot of energy. But the other thing is, since I've been here for a while, I have made a lot of huge network. I have contacts at the Fraunhofer Institutes, and also some of the universities that we work with are quite collaborative, the ATB in Potsdam, for example.
And the customers, are they also mainly from Germany, or are there? At
the moment, most of our customers are Germany. It's one of the biggest vertical farming is in Berlin. But when you go to the greenhouses, it's going to be mostly in Netherlands.
Perfect. Thank you very much again. And I will now ask Hannah to join our discussion up here for the last 5 minutes to discuss a bit broader the future of vertical farming. So can you maybe summarize again, like what is the potential indoor farming has compared to conventional agriculture, and what does it mean for food security?
Yeah. So the potentials we see in vertical farming are that we can reduce a lot of the resources that have to be used to grow food. So we can reduce the water, the use of pesticides and fertilizer, and this really has a positive impact on the environment. And also we can grow a lot of food in a small space. So with the population growing and more space also being habitated and already used for agriculture, this can really help growing more food close to the people, so it does not have to be transported that far.
Yeah, and to add to that, one of the biggest challenges now is the climate uncertainty. So you see a lot of this climate change happening, which makes the food production uncertain. And this is where I think vertical farm will make a big impact. So once you have controlled environments, you can grow it in the Middle East or in southern Spain once they have drought season. So this is where I think the vertical farming is going to shine.
What do you think, what kind of innovation do we still need also on the technology side to make it more cost efficient, that we can see more and more food from vertical indoor farms also in the supermarkets, also here?
Well, in terms of innovation, I think, well, obviously I would say lighting is the biggest one because we build lights. But the second, I think today vertical farms, if you look at the operational cost of vertical farms, 30% is from energy and 30% is from labor costs. So labor and automation and lighting is one of the key things. And then the third thing is genetics, plant genetics, because you cannot start growing, or especially if you're thinking about complex crops, you cannot use what you grow outdoor in vertical farms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would add to that another thing that is not really an innovation, but what is needed to really make vertical farming sustainable is green energy, because you can save all the resources you want if you do not use renewable energies. This will always be a big issue with the high amount of energy needed for vertical farming.
So, and what are the drivers of this progress, of these new innovations?
Yeah, I would say it's startups like us that develop technologies and innovations that help lowering these costs. But it's also the knowledge that is growing when doing research in vertical farming environments, and the acceptance and understanding of the way we need to produce food in the future to really have enough food and do it in a sustainable way.
What do you think?
Yeah, but I think the other driver is that in general, there's people awareness of for locally grown, sustainably produced products, and this trend is growing, and people are also more aware of what's happening in the world, how the food is being produced, and they also want to know exactly what's happening with the food, and they're more health aware. That's one thing. And also the climate change is one of the biggest drivers. And then the third thing is we see a lot of human right violation in southern Spain, for example, where most of the greenhouses are, and this is also coming more and more, becoming more mainstream. So all these factors add up to.
As a startup, what do you need to develop to become bigger and grow? Is there anything?
I think, well, first, obviously having the right talent and the right ecosystem is important. Obviously, as a startup, we are always financial support, which is, I'm glad the European Union, especially for deep tech startups, it's a challenge today, especially in today's environment. It is a big challenge for deep tech startups anyway. But luckily, the European Union is supporting us on this topic. I think those are the big.
Anna, what about you?
Yeah, I would also say the financial support is always a thing that is very important to startups, but also the structures that are provided by the state, for example. So we have been very lucky to be supported by the the funding program for startups by the Agricultural Ministry through the Rentenbank. And of course, I think networks are very important, so we're always happy to be at events like this, for example, also members of the Bitkom. So this is what really helps to find people that can bring the resources and the knowledge that can support us and help us grow.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your insights into vertical farming, for bringing that very important topic on the stage here at Hub Berlin. And yeah, I would say a round of applause for our two panelists.